business fast track question. What's the worst advice you've ever been given?
Oh, to give, love, and serve unconditionally. See everybody. Don't let the right hand know what the left hand's doing. Because if you're not making money, you're not going to be here for very long. I'll go to do business with someone who's making money, and they're going to be here for a while.
Because I need you to pay me.
Exactly. 100%.
Yeah.
So when I do business with my friends like you, it's very important that I pay you as quickly as possible so you can keep doing that service.
Yes, sir.
And if we're hardwired for this natural exchange. If we do not have a natural exchange, then there's a resentment that's inevitable. So if I'm giving you a great service that is premier gold service and you're not reimbursing me, eventually I'm going to have resentment and I'm not going to give you the best service.
We are something.
Yes.
You know, this ain't just a little fad. You know, it's just a small crew, but we can do some mighty things when we come together and put our heads together. And that just gave me so much pride and confidence in myself, confidence in my business, and it just
I don't even think you listen to me half the time. I don't think so. Let's talk about this. Okay? Let's talk about this in our interview too.
Okay.
Yes. All right. So yes, because I got some stuff that I want to discuss with you. Okay. I know you have a structure, but these are the things I want to talk about with you because I've told you you're the best kept secret in not just Mississippi, but in the whole country. We're in a global market now.
True.
So let's talk about this, okay? Because I think people need to think bigger. Like my podcast that I filmed in here, think bigger.
Yeah, think bigger.
That's right.
Sure was.
Yes.
Think bigger.
So we're going to talk about that too, okay?
Okay.
And then we'll go into entrepreneurship and how, and I'll give you what I think entrepreneurship is and how you're doing it with your crew. I don't care how big or small your crew is. There's only one thing I care about. Can you get the job done? You know, the reason that, you know, Navy SEALs and Green Berets are very small units that get a lot done because they're highly trained and highly specialized. And everybody does their job and knows their job. So you can have a small unit and do massive things as you're doing. And let's get you out nationally and internationally.
What a perspective.
Yeah.
This guy, Dr. Mark, just compared us to Green Bay,
Green Beret,
Green Berets in the military because they move in small units, small groups, and they don't bring a bunch of exposure, a bunch of publicity to themselves. They move in the darkness and get massive amounts of things done. That's an interesting perspective, Dr. Mark.
It is. And let's talk about it, bro. Let's talk about it. Yes. So let's have all this material so people can see it and enjoy it. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Well, let's get it going. So, what inspired you to?
Are we filming right now?
Yeah.
That's great. So did you catch all that? Oh well, I didn't even realize that. Yes. Okay. Go ahead. Yes. This is great. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah. So what inspired you to become an entrepreneur, and what were your early days like?
You know, an entrepreneur was never really my intent, Alex. This is a great question. It was always to be a chiropractor.
Okay.
And I never really cared and how I just wanted to be in the best environment to help people live better through the skill and service of chiropractic.
Okay.
So, you know, as I went through school, and I was very fortunate. You can argue that I grew up and lived through the golden era of chiropractic. That I realized in 1983, 13 years old, I was a bodybuilder, and I realized I was reading Franco Columbo's book, Complete Book of Bodybuilding, and he was a chiropractor, amongst other things, and there was one sentence that said, hey, as a chiropractor, I help people live better through the adjustment of these vertebral subluxations, that bones can misalign and produce nerve interference that's going to interfere with the expression of life, and I help people live better through the adjustment of these vertebral subluxations. And I thought, as 13, I would go every week for a service like that. And then I also thought, I would think I want to be that. And, you know, growing up in Boston was brutal. I cared about hockey. I cared about friends and socializing. Never really cared about school until I had a purpose. So school to me was hiding your horrible test scores from your parents as long as you can. And I realized once I had the purpose and realized I had to go to school that studying became like, oh, if I study, I get good grades. I get it. I just didn't know how to study before, and I didn't have a reason to study. So then, as I went through chiropractic college, and I was so fortunate, and I realized how big of a service this is. Chiropractic is a big picture service. Yes, most chiropractors try to utilize chiropractic as a therapy for a specific treatment or of a symptom or condition. Where I understood chiropractic and keep growing in that understanding is chiropractic is about a fuller expression of life that can't be, predicted for any specific symptom or condition, but everybody benefits from a fuller expression of life from the adjustment of vertebral subluxations. So graduating school and then realizing this was a very unique objective in chiropractic, I basically then, after interning and associating, I opened up my own practice.
You said interning. Where did you intern?
Yeah, I was an associate at Dr. Bob Goodwin's office for 2 years.
Okay.
Yes, and I worked with him, very thankful, learned from him, and we, began to practice in 2 very different models. And so it was time to move on, but I was very thankful for my experience.
Of course.
And he actually led me to books and such that took my chiropractic to another level. Very thankful. So an entrepreneur, now I'm 2 things. I'm a business owner and I'm an entrepreneur. And what is the difference?
Okay.
A business owner, chiropractic is one of my loves and one of my passions. And the offices, I have 3 offices, and I also have an online training institute that we'll go into in a little bit because you know a good bit about.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, you do. I was very fortunate to be able to develop a business structure in a way that had never been done before, having 3 offices and a wonderful service and teaching facility for chiropractors to come work and practice with me.
Okay.
So that was, but it does require me being in and a part of that office, so I am still an employee of that office.
Okay.
And it does require my presence being there to run smoothly. Now, could I leave for a month and a half and have Dr. Blythe run the offices? And he's done it before, and there's no question he could.
Okay.
So I am much like an employee in the office. An entrepreneur is, in my perspective, you've got to be creating something. So we created an office structure. We created more clarity in this model of chiropractic, and we created the ability to reach a lot of people and train other chiropractors in the process. So there must be some element of creation, and also there must be a time that to become a true entrepreneur, you've got to move that to a position where your business can run without you.
Okay.
Yes, and I think that's imperative, especially if you remember Stephen Covey's book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. To have a business that's going to transition to entrepreneurship, you must start with the end in mind and have an exit strategy to be able to sell that business that doesn't require you being there. So, and the challenge is that so many businesses are built on a personality. Now, you've always been a well-spoken, handsome fella. There is a personality that you built it, and fortunately you have your son who is equally handsome and well-spoken, that you can transition this to a family business.
We got some handsome men on.
Yes, we do. That's exactly right.
Please continue.
Yes, exactly right. So the goal for you and I must be to be able to sell the business without it being contingent on us being there.
Exactly.
And that's entrepreneurship.
Gotcha.
Yes, sir.
So, and thank you for kind of unpacking that, because that is one of the questions that I wanted to go over with you. So after you left Dr. Goodman's under his apprenticeship,
yes, sir,
and went into practice full steam on your own,
yes, sir,
what were some moments, or was there, some moment or a person or a season where you felt like confirmation, I'm on the right path?
There are road signs. I first opened up in Pontotoc in 1996, and Pontotoc's always been very, very good to me. I love the city. And I love where it's gone and the direction it has. Almost immediately, I had a wonderful transition. I was very respectful to Dr. Goodwin, gave him a couple months notice before I moved on. And he was very gracious about it. So opening up, we had this wonderful open house, and almost immediately people were coming in. Now, we built a practice, and then we transitioned our practice to complete cash so we could focus exclusively on people having the habit of chiropractic. So, third party does not pay for the habit of chiropractic. So I made a transition, and, I was the only chiropractor in the area doing that, on that level, to where people came in weekly for life, and I served them like my own family. That was very, creative, so that was entrepreneurial, and it had to be on a bigger vision of seeing more people and having a system that was congruent with the principles of chiropractic. So then it took a while to build that, and there were some rough times. And I remember praying to God, how much more can I take? And the answer was always the same, just a little bit more.
Just a little bit more.
That's right, Alan. And then you start to see progress, and then you start to fit pieces together, and then you start realizing, I'm not meant to serve everybody. I'm looking for the right fit. Because yes, when you're trying.
And how important is the right fit?
Oh, it's unbelievably important, because if it's not the right fit, there is a conflict that's not necessary. Because if folks are looking for things to be done a certain way, or if they're looking for certain personalities that just are not fit for you or the structure of your office, folks aren't going to be happy. And then it's a constant conflict. And now, especially now, unless folks are unbelievably enthusiastically excited to be in my company, I'm just not your guy. There are 17 other chiropractors. Find your person. And whether it's a chiropractor, a dentist, an orthopedic surgeon, whatever the case is, you've got to find your people, your tribe. And this is
so important.
It's so important. So important, Alan. My vision, there's a chiropractor on every corner, so people are going to find who they resonate with, so they can come in every week to have their spine checked. It's real simple. I want everyone to find who they enjoy being with, who they enjoy being around. So for you, I realized that what we were doing is really special, and that many chiropractors in general can't sell chiropractic. Their heart's in the right place, they're sincere, they're honest, they're giving the best service humanly possible. They simply don't have the skills to sell it and close it congruently. And it always has to be done with honesty. So I struggled with this for many years. I'm just not a natural salesperson. I love what I do as a chiropractor. I just didn't know how to communicate it to create value.
So what you're saying is you can't just go to school for however many years it takes to become a board certified chiropractic, come into a town, find a location, renovate the office, set an open sign out in the window, and people just start coming in.
No, that's a great question. No, sir, because chiropractic is such a unique principle that most people don't know what chiropractic is. And chiropractors, there are two models of chiropractic. There's going to be therapeutic treatment model, and the model that I practice in, non-therapeutic. Chiropractic is a service everybody needs, come in weekly for life. And so, yes, if you're offering a treatment for a symptom, that's an easier sell.
Oh, okay.
You see, the problem is those symptoms don't always go away, and if they do go away, either way, the person's not coming back on a regular basis, because chiropractic is now a therapy. So you've got to be able to sell chiropractic in a way that's congruent with folks getting the same quality that you as a chiropractor give your own family. And just putting in up a sign and saying open, put your shingle up. You have to be able to explain chiropractic in a way that's easy to understand and creates massive value.
So what I just heard is you have to be a good communicator,
yes,
as well as good in what you do. So did you not find a need and meet it with chiropractic?
You do, but the challenge is it's a need that people don't realize. Dentists did a great job of selling you. I don't even know if it was the dental profession. They did a great job 100 years ago selling you to brush your teeth every day. Okay. Up until then, people weren't doing that, and even at first, people thought that was crazy. Every day, brush my teeth. Now it's like second nature. Yeah. Chiropractors did not do a good job communicating what chiropractic is to the public, and the need for that habit. So, yes, you have to be a great communicator. And it's a skill set that can be learned. And this is the impetus for the creation of NTSC Institute, an online training platform that is what I call the missing link in chiropractic. School does not have time to teach. Most every profession, you don't learn the skills of communication and creating a successful business in college. You simply don't. College teaches you to pass national and state boards, and then after that, now it's going to take you 3 to 5 years to realize if you want to do this for the rest of your life or not.
Whoa.
Yes, sir.
You know how vested in you are at that point?
You are. You
because
certainly are.
it's 4 to 6 years of school.
Correct.
Now you're out here with more overhead because you're opening an office. This is not something that you can do out of your garage.
Correct.
You have to open a brick and mortar,
Yes.
and that's another 4 or 5 years. You're 10 years in, and it's still not a solid
No,
venture.
it's not a solid venture, but if you're around the right people,
Okay.
and if you're around the Institute, and you're building the skill sets that are going to create the desired result of being a better communicator, 100% honest, vetting properly to build the practice of your dreams that you'd never need a vacation from. And you know this, Alan, the people that you hang out with are the greatest influence in your life. And for me, you know, I've been practice 33 years. I absolutely love what I
Wow.
do. And I love it. Every day I get to go to work and be a chiropractor. And you and I have worked for many years. It's been about 10 years that we've been working together with creating hundreds of videos on the Institute that help chiropractors communicate this service. It's not taught anywhere else. You cannot find these skills anywhere else. They're an accumulation of all the mentors that I studied from in chiropractic and outside of chiropractic. As you know, folks like, you know, Tony Robbins, Zig Ziglar, Grant Cardone, Jordan Belfort, Les Brown, you know, T.D. Jakes. So there are so many people that I studied from, that I learned from, seminars that I went to become the best communicator I possibly can be in chiropractic and filling that void. Our goal is to help chiropractors get to a point that you're on what you said earlier, that you know you're on the right direction. You're filling your office with people who are a great fit. You're building your tribe. And honestly, we either want to get chiropractors to the $10,000 a month mark or increase their revenue by $10,000 a month, being 100% congruent and honest, because at that point, something changes in the human psyche. When you get to $10,000 a month, as you know, something changes, that you begin to see abundance. You begin to see your potential in creating wealth and making a difference. And money is a problem to be solved. It needs to be done congruently. I look at what the business that you've created and the changes that you've made through your career, because I'm on Lightspeed, same as Grant Cardone. Our videos are top quality that you have created, produced, edited, and our system is the top quality on Lightspeed, and we have the top quality videos. So when I see you growing, and then when you compare yourself to other video production studios, I think that helps you kind of gauge where you're at. And how the quality you produce, which, for the record, I've been telling Alan for years how great of a service you have and how wonderful you are to deal with, and the quality that you produce. And whether it's commercials, you've made some of the best commercials for me.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, and the videos that I have, 10 years that we've been working together, and I keep coming back. And yes, incredibly reasonable, and you know how to edit in a way. You have a gift for this service.
Thank you, sir. And that kind of leads me to my next question. What is like one of the biggest misperceptions of your industry that people think they know, but they really don't?
You know, people think chiropractic's a treatment for symptoms and conditions, and a lot of this is the chiropractic profession's fault, because sometimes because a lot of things go away. When vertebral subluxations are adjusted and you have a fuller expression of life, a lot of things go away. And many times, and even schools teach, okay, look, you know, that symptomatic relief. Everybody's living with vertebral subluxations. People don't know it, and you're never going to reach your full potential in any capacity so long as you do not have vertebral subluxations adjusted. That is a massive misconception. Oh, people say, well, I'll come in when I need you. Great, then call me tomorrow and we'll schedule because you need me. You don't know that you need me. And it had to be this hard for dentists to sell toothpaste. Oh, my teeth feel fine. Why do I need to brush them? I feel fine.
And you think, and I notice you keep going back to dentists, and I think the parallel that you're making is the fact that it was pain. People kind of sought out dentists because when they had a cavity or when they had a loose tooth or when they had pain, I need to relieve that pain.
Yes.
And in your line of work, it's people are more prone to come to you when they have when it's an obvious need, when they have a pain that they're trying to get resolved. But after that pain is resolved and I don't have a obvious issue that I need resolved, I don't feel like I need you. I'm fine.
100%. I don't see people in pain at all. I only see people when you're, okay, I want to live to my fullest potential. People come in, they're in excruciating pain. They can't receive this message. They can't listen to that point of really understanding it. So when we see people, and I tell people, if you're waiting till you're in pain, you limit to what I do to just about nothing. Come in when you're able to hear the message, because it's, for me, it's not enough to simply sign people up to sell and close.
Okay.
It's got to be the right fit, and they have to have a working understanding of what the objective is in our office, a fuller expression of life. It's not a treatment of symptoms or conditions. I can't predict how you're going to feel. The body is very complicated. Vertebral subluxations are very destructive to the expression of life. They're not the only thing in the body that can be destructive to the expression of life. They are the thing that we as chiropractors work with exclusively. And everybody needs this service. In a perfect world, everybody in this room, from the moment you're born, you're getting checked every week. Not out of crisis. Chiropractic is never a crisis service. It's never emergency service. And it's never a rush because it's never a treatment. That would be in the therapeutic model of physical medicine or medicine in general.
Which is a
totally different profession.
Different profession.
Correct.
I like what you said about, no matter what industry you're in, you have to find your people,
Correct.
Your tribe.
Yes, sir.
Because just because you can be the best at what you do, but everyone is not going to be your customer.
Correct.
Because it may not be a good fit.
100%. And not only that, and we've talked about this before too, your friends and your family are very unlikely to come to your service. You know what I'm talking about. So yes, and I can't tell you, well, there's probably good reasons why, but yes, if it's not a good fit, I'd rather folks, and I encourage folks, find the person that it is a good fit.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that I can close, it's just not for the right reason, and I'd rather say, look, this is what we do here. I know what you want to hear. And if I told you that, we'd be starting under false pretenses, and I don't want to do that. We see people weekly. Our niche in our office is, and there's fine chiropractors, wonderful chiropractors who practice in the other model. Our model is weekly for life in a non-therapeutic approach to chiropractic, the adjustment of vertebral subluxations for a fuller expression of life.
So let me ask you this.
Yes.
How did you find your first loyal customers, your first loyal clients? How did you attract them to your business?
When I was working with Bob Goodwin, there was a lot of people who came in every week, and we were not explaining it this way. Bob Goodwin introduced me to the Blue Books. That's written by a chiropractor, Joe Strauss, who had passed away, and is now taken over by Claude Lassard, another chiropractor, and I think you mentioned him in your videos. So there was a few folks when I was working with Bob, we weren't explaining it this way. Bob was not in this model, but he gave me the books, introduced me to the books that were. There were people coming in every week back then. And, this is 33 years ago. And we didn't explain it that way. They were simply, it just made sense to come in every week and get checked. And then when I opened up, there were some people who came in, transitioned from that practice. Now you're prospecting. And when you're prospecting, when you're looking for gold, for me, I hand out my cards every day, as you know, and whenever I'm going and I'm doing different things, going to the bank, getting gas, going to the grocery store,
You're always marketing.
I'm always marketing. I'm always leaving my card. And then there are days I'll just go out and hand out brochures. Hey, my name's Dr. Mark.
Okay.
I'm the chiropractor down the street. Can I leave a brochure with you?
So you have like an outside sales day.
I do. And I just enjoy it. And then so many times, Alan, I cannot tell you how many times someone will say, you know, it's amazing you came here. I've been thinking about seeing a chiropractor. I was like, great.
And there you are.
And there I am. And so I pull out my phone and I say, what's the best number to text you? And we'll schedule a free consultation. So now you're literally scheduling appointments out in the community.
Yeah.
And then you're building. And now not everyone's going to be a good fit, but there are folks that come in and they just get it, and their face lights up. And every time they come in, they're just like, I love this place. Because when you work with life, it's very positive and powerful, very happy. So I'm happy, and I want everyone who comes in to be happy, and I'm always so thankful to see them. So the right fit, they stay, they love it, they refer. The folks that aren't a good fit, they just kind of find a way to,
They kind of fade.
They
kind of eliminate themselves. They
sure do. They
Yeah,
sure do.
yeah.
And it's easy peasy, lemon squeezy. And then if they want to find a chiropractor maybe closer to them, or you know, whatever the case is, I'm happy to give them references of people that I know who are wonderful people.
So what have you noticed are the biggest mistakes people make when they're entering into your line of work?
There's so many different things. One, they probably work too much in the office, not seeing people. Two, they're not going out in the community, introducing themselves, promoting enough.
Okay.
Three, they try to see everybody. Four, they don't have a congruent fee system. Five, they, and I could look at it even from my point of view, that I don't rest enough. Okay.
What do you mean you don't?
I don't rest enough. In other words, I go all the time.
Okay.
And, you know, I've been going 7 days a week for 33 years, and I'm really trying to figure out what day that I can either take off.
So your office is open on Sundays?
It is.
I didn't realize
that. It's one of my busiest days. After church, 12 to 2, we'll see 50 people. Yes, and it's because it's convenient. You literally could have
you had to find that sweet spot. For your customers.
100%. And that's what it is. And I think another thing you bring up that chiropractors make the mistake of not understanding the flow of their community. Oh, I just want to work this many days and this many hours. Well, it really doesn't matter unless those hours are when people are either going into work or coming out of work. It has to be convenient. If it's not convenient for folks, they're not coming in.
They're not coming, no matter how much they need your services, because they have to take care of food, shelter, and certain necessities for themselves and for their families first, before they can even consider darkening your doorstep.
You're 100% right. That's exactly right. So you have to be convenient. You have to know the flow of your community. You've got to charge a reasonable fee. I'm going to lecture on building a huge practice in Mexico City. And now Mexico City, they get very concerned. Well, you know, people are on very tight budgets, and I mean, huge, one of the largest cities in the world. And it's like, look, and I usually take them outside. People can put gas in their vehicles to get around town on all these scooters, on all these different, cars. You charge a fee. You could charge, like 100 pesos. You know, in pesos to dollars, it's 13 pesos to $1.
Okay.
You know, so you're looking at, that'd be like $10 a visit. And you think, well, that's not a lot of money, right? That's sure. But 100 pesos, they're coming in every week. If you're seeing 100 people a day, okay, and now you're not only are you making a difference in your community, you're going to make a great living.
You got volume.
You got volume, and that's where it is. And then the other thing, when chiropractors talk about, oh, I want to see 100 or 400 visits a week, you know, okay, you know, for any business, you have peak hours. And in those peak hours, you know, that's where you're going to see 80% of your people.
Okay.
And, you know, if it takes you 10 minutes, which is a very long time, to see a person that's already established, then the most you can see is 6 people an hour. And if your peak hours are 2 hours in the evening and 2 hours in the morning, well, now you're looking at your max is somewhere around 30 people a day. You see what I'm saying? You know, I do believe you can safely streamline that, you know, to where you're, you know, seeing people in much less time that are already established, that you've been seeing for quite some time.
Okay.
So I think that you have to reverse engineer it based on how long does it take you to safely and analyze a spine and effectively facilitate an adjustment.
Gotcha.
And do it in a safe way.
So, and you may have kind of mentioned this throughout the conversation so far, but I just want to ask it as a direct question.
Yes, sir.
How has your industry changed over the last 10, 15 years?
It's becoming a lot more medical. Chiropractic has suffered since its inception in 1895, a bit of an identity crisis. That chiropractic was basically initially a cure for deafness, and then it was a cure for everything. And then Reggie Gold, as we discussed in 1960s, created this model, NTC, the non-therapeutic model of chiropractic, that everybody benefits from the adjustment of vertebral subluxations. We simply cannot correlate a vertebral subluxation to any symptom, condition, or physiological function. Everybody benefits from having a fuller expression of life. Well, that's a very small percent of the profession. The rest of the profession has been heading pretty wide open into medicine. And now what we're having is states that are now having chiropractors prescribe medications and do injections and all of these different things. So if chiropractic cannot create an identity, starting with the ability to define exactly what chiropractic is, it will continue to go down this road of medicine and be swallowed up by the medical profession. Most every school teaches a medical curriculum, and if you're fortunate, you will get some chiropractic technique and philosophy in that. Sherman College is probably the last college in the United States holding on to the philosophy and basic science of chiropractic. So unfortunately, we're losing that art of chiropractic, and we're losing that basic philosophical understanding as well.
Wow. So if you were in a position where you were talking to some young students who are looking forward to graduating and opening up their own practice, what would you tell them? What would be the advice that you would give them as far as focus on this first?
I think that's a powerful question, and I hope the world can hear this. I would say, look, when you graduate school, the first 2 years of your professional life will determine the rest of the years of how you practice.
Oh, wow.
Yes, associate
How
with
so?
Well, because you're going to learn habits, you're going to learn office structure, you're going to learn attitude, you're going to learn application of the chiropractic, analysis and adjusting skills. Work with a chiropractor that you resonate with, and that is philosophically and analytically in where you want to be. That you look at that person, you look at her or him as massively successful, incredibly congruent, and a person that you want to be like. And then work with them for 2 years and learn everything you can. And then wherever you move to after that, that's probably where you're going to be for the next 20 years. So be very, very specific on where you want to be and who you want to learn from. Most chiropractors do not have a great experience in those first 2 years because they didn't come work with me. You see what I'm saying?
First
and,
off.
Yes,
Yeah.
and it's not always a good fit even with me. That's why we usually have a 2-month time to make sure it's a good fit.
Yeah,
you see?
yeah.
And then great, then we'll go for 2 years, and then after that, and most stay longer than that because they just love it. And then there's no radius clause, so you can work anywhere you want to. And I'd say be careful about any radius clause, especially if you want to stay in the same town and you sign a 90-mile radius clause. That's really 180 miles that you can't practice. And I think that's a very narrow vision. And I think that chiropractors need to take care of our graduates better. And you shouldn't be signing contracts with radius clauses. You shouldn't have them because that's going to limit you. And within the model of the non-therapeutic model, there needs to be a chiropractor on every corner, so we're in a massive shortage, and the vast majority of chiropractors don't have that vision.
So, okay, Dr. Mark, let's unpack that just for a second. The radius clause,
Yes.
because what I'm basically hearing is a non-compete.
That's exactly right. Yes.
That's a non-compete,
Yes.
and if you are sitting here operating your practice, you've been here for 10, 15 years, everybody knows you for this particular skill set or service in the community. This young guy just graduated school in this industry. He needs a mentor.
Yes.
He needs someone to learn how to, you have the book sense.
That's right.
But now we have to go about implementing this into the community, which oftentimes school does not teach.
100%.
This is when you have on the job training, and this young guy or young lady is coming in to for a mentorship to learn how you go about it, how do you implement your services, how do you gauge your price points, how do you I just want to know how you touch your customers on a day-to-day basis. And then once they learn that, they go right across the street and open up the same practice that you've all opened. How do you not see that as taking food off your plate and being direct competition?
This is just great. This is just awesome. Just trying to get a little look at myself over there.
Yeah.
This is great studio, by the way. I just love it. I don't look at that as competition at all. I'm a very controlling person when it comes to my attitude and the quality of service that I provide my community. When somebody is under my tutelage, yes, and I'm teaching them, and they stay congruent with the principles of chiropractic, I would love for them to go next door, and whoever wants to go with them, go with them. There are 2 chiropractors that work with me in this community, and whoever wanted to go with them when their time was done, it's like, go. He's awesome. Go and see him. And
now you see your clientele number decrease by 10-15%, which is a direct impact on your monthly income. How are you cool with that?
Because brother, there is so much abundance. I mean, there is so much opportunity. There is, if we look in Mississippi alone, Pontotoc in the city has 6,000 people, and the county has like 30,000 people. Tupelo during the work day has 100 to 150,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
I can't take care of all of those folks, So when a chiropractor works with me and they open up next door, I love it. Yeah, my income might go down a little bit, but here's the thing. That's just room for more people to come in.
So it's plenty to go around.
There is so much. And it's like, the best thing that could happen to you is another video production studio come in, because it creates more awareness for that service.
It does.
Yes. And having a chiropractor on every corner creates the awareness of why is there a chiropractor on every corner? I mean, the fast food industry figured it out. No fast food industry business opens up by itself. It's always looking to open up next to other fast food.
You're exactly right.
They
create clusters.
They create clusters because that creates awareness for that part of town for that particular service. And the auto industry does it.
That's another.
It is another.
Yeah.
And these are massive investments, okay?
Massive.
You're buying a car, yes.
Yeah.
I see the car you drive. That's a $160,000 vehicle right there, okay? That's sharp ride, by the way. You look great in it. So with that being said, there is so much abundance that in this country that we live in, and the opportunities that we have in this, I want to say entrepreneurship country, that we have the ability to have businesses. Capitalism, it's not the right word for it, because there's another word that that demonstrates the freedom that we have and the ability to have businesses, take risks, and fail our way to success. So I want to create massive awareness for chiropractic. If I am right, and I am, that every human being needs chiropractic. I've never had a chiropractor disagree with me on that, ever. Never, ever have I had a chiropractor. Not everybody practices that way. With my vision, there is exactly or approximately 107 to 110,000 chiropractors practicing in the world. If every chiropractor in the world moved to the United States tomorrow and opened up on every corner, 330 million people living in the United States, and that's probably a lowball number, that would mean that every chiropractor would be seeing over 3,000 visits a week if every chiropractor was seeing all the people in the United States. Yes, we are in and that's just in the United States. That's not worldwide, 8 billion people or 8.2 billion people. We are in a massive shortage for chiropractic, and the reason why is because chiropractors lack the vision of what chiropractic is really about. And it's so far reaching because chiropractic works with life, exclusively focusing on the adjustment of vertebral subluxations. Everybody has them. We're talking massive job security. So this is a vision that I live. Yes, if I had my way, I would train a chiropractor and they'd move across the street, or they move down the street, or they move to the next town over. I would have this place, because Mississippi people are very smart. People are very successful here. You know it. I know it. Folks in Mississippi, it's our job for them to know that about them. That people want to have good habits, and people come to see me for one reason, because they're smart. So the people who are coming in on a regular basis, who've been coming in for 20 and 30 years, they refer in people who are just like them. That, look, my uncle comes in, my cousin comes in, my grandmother comes in, and I want to come in for the habit of chiropractic. That's my referral basis, and that's the people that I see. That's my niche. Do I see any other people? No. That's the reason that I see folks. Can people say, well, can I come in for a treatment of this? I don't do that. That's not my niche. That's outside of my scope of practice. Come in when you're able to sit down and hear the message, and we can start on the right foot.
Gotcha. Let me ask you this.
Yes, sir.
What does a bad day look like in your office, Dr. Mark?
My goodness, I've never had a bad day in my office. I've had challenging moments. I've had moments that, and they weren't like all bad, because you know what? I've been through divorce, I've got 2 boys, and there have been some tough moments. There have been some tough times. I've blown discs. I've my massive bodily injury. What else? Been through some devastating times. Struggled financially. I've never had a bad day. I've had challenging moments that I had to figure things out. And what life has taught me is, as long as you're making small steps of progress.
Okay.
I remember one day, I was very tight on money. I had too much month at the end of the money. Yes.
I know what that feels like.
You know the feeling.
Yeah.
You've been there. Nobody's successful. You have to go through you wouldn't be where you're at if you didn't.
Mm-hmm. Teaches you gratitude.
It teaches you tremendous gratitude. It teaches you grit. It teaches you to focus on what can I control. I've had pipes bust. I had a car drive through my front window one time.
Wow.
Because Toyota's, they had a faulty accelerator, if you recall, years ago.
Okay.
It wasn't the person's fault at all. Fortunately, nobody was hurt. And I went through some massive struggles, especially financially. And then I said, okay, I can't focus on any of that. What can I do right now to make progress? And that was simply serve the people in front of me with 100% present time consciousness, and be thankful that you can.
Okay.
So,
and that's what I want to, for the people who are my business FastTrack viewers.
Yes.
How important is mindset when you're launching any kind of entrepreneurship journey? How important is mindset?
Tony Robbins talks about structure, story, state. That you got to have a structure that is geared for success. Story. What do you tell yourself? That's your story. How do you describe yourself to yourself? What is your story? And then state. What is the emotional presence that you find yourself in, that you reside in? And mental focus and concentration. You got to have a powerful why. Why am I doing this? You see? Mm-hmm. And then you're going to be able to, so much of our country is built on, and success is built on as well, is not when things are easy and fun and everyone's getting along. It's when there's discourse. It's when there's struggle. It's when, freedom of speech is not for the things you like. It's for the things you don't like, you see? So when you're going through these difficult times, the universe has everything that we need. We cannot create or destroy anything in this universe. It's already there. The universe and the principles will test you to make sure this is really what you want to do before you see those elements of success.
Gotcha.
Yes, sir.
And speaking of, the universe will test you and make sure this is really what you want to do. That's now.
Right. Yes.
What are some things, or what is one thing that you wish that you know now that you wish you knew back? You say you've been practicing, you've been an entrepreneur for 33 years?
33 years, that's correct, yes.
What is one thing that you know now that you wish you knew 32, 33 years ago when you started?
Time has nothing to do with success and nothing to do with wealth. That you figure out the time that you are mentally 100% focused, like you were just saying, and that's what you structure your office and your success around. I've worked 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for 5 years. I will never do that again. That you can have a massively, unbelievably successful practice working 3 to 4 days a week, and you work the hours in the morning, say, that are available for the vast majority of people to come to see you, and then the hours in the evening that the vast majority of people can come to see you, even if it's 2 hours, 3 at the most, and then you go out and you promote. You hand out your cards, you talk with people, you constantly study, you constantly grow. You've got to love money. You've got to love money, and you've got to open up those doors of abundance so that money can flow through you, and you can use that resource to make the world a better place, make your world a better place. And you've got to love it. You've got to love every bit of it. And people, I've heard people say, "Oh, you don't got to love it." You don't. I disagree. If you're going to make a difference in this world, it's got to be an act of love that you absolutely are committed to 100%, that you buy in totally, and you've got to move away from mediocrity and people that are holding you back, don't have your best interest, and belittle you in any way. And I've always thought it was very interesting where people would say, "Oh, the love of money is the root of all evil." I'm like, yeah, unless it's money I owe you. You see, now that money is really good.
Unless it's money I owe you.
Yeah, that's right. And Myron Golden, who's amazing. I hope you're studying him.
Oh
because,
yeah,
yes,
I do.
He would tell you that the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. If I'm going to destroy relationships to gain money, if I'm going to do anything dishonest to gain money, that is now evil. You see, so there are things that have to be more important than money. You have to stay congruent with your values. You have to cultivate great relationships. You have to have a purpose bigger than yourself. You have to constantly be dedicated to never-ending improvement and growth in your skill set. And none of those things are compromised in any way. I do not believe in compromise. Oh, people say great relationships are compromised. No, they're not great relationships. Why do I want to compromise who I am and what's important to me? That's not great. I want to be with people on the same purpose and mission, that we make each other better, that say, no, you can't compromise. This is too important. You got to stay the course. You got to figure it out. And you got to do things in a way that makes the world better and is congruent with your values, or you're not going to experience joy. I love when Myron Golden says, look, money is the root of all kinds of evil. Money just exposes more of who you are.
Who you actually are.
Yes, exactly. 100%. If money was the root of all evil, where was money in the fall in the garden? It wasn't there. There was no money involved when Adam and Eve fell.
But evil was there.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Evil was there.
Yeah.
So I think that sometimes there are certain tropes that want us to feel guilty about any kind of success or wealth building, and keep us in a mindset of poverty.
Gotcha.
And I just will never condone that.
Speaking of money, and I got like 3 closing questions.
Yes.
On the speaking of money, and actually I'm speaking on resources.
Yes, sir.
How do you feel resources are best used in your business? Is it, some new equipment? Is it, boosting ads on social, buying ads on the local broadcast station, putting up a new billboard? Where do you feel like your resources, if there was an extra influx of, $10,000 this month for your business, where do you feel like it will best serve your business?
Great question. First of all, as a chiropractor, you got to have the best equipment. Whatever you're utilizing, whatever kind of table you're utilizing, whatever analysis you're utilizing, you've got to make sure that you've got the best equipment that you can possibly have. That's where you start. And then from there, once you have the best tools to do the job that you exclusively do, which is analyze and facilitate the adjustment of vertebral subluxations, now, and you know what, if you got to cut back, maybe you don't have the most comfortable chairs in your waiting room yet, but $10,000, you can get some pretty comfortable chairs. You want to have a comfortable consultation area where you're giving the message. You want to make sure people can receive that message. And then you want to create as much attention as possible. Success follows attention, as you know. So, I would...
Is that attention meaning exposure?
Exposure, yes,
Okay.
100% to what you do. And there's some free attention. You can do a lot of free reels on TikTok and YouTube and Facebook. And then you can have brochures that you can hand out everywhere you go that are designed, very, very reasonable at Vistaprint, to specifically talk to people in the community who haven't been in your office yet. Now, as time goes on, contacting you, like I could give you two local greats, and that's you and Cody Floyd.
Okay.
Yes, I think what you're doing, I think that your film production is second to none. There is nobody.
Thank you for that.
Yes, there is nobody who can touch you in this area. There's just none.
Oh, thank you,
Yes.
Dr. Mark.
No.
That means a lot coming from you.
Well, it's the truth, and I'm saying in this area because I'm in this area, but my platform is an international platform on Lightspeed. I mean, I've got folks all over the world, Central and South America, maybe over in Europe. I have in Israel as well. And as far as the videos, I've seen other folks. I've been on Grant Cardone's platform. I would put the quality of our videos up against his any day of the week. So, what you're doing, what Cody Floyd's doing, and building out websites is amazing, and getting you up in the SEO on the search engines is fantastic.
Okay.
So doing these things and reinvesting, and then, if you want to do billboards are nice if they're close to your office and such. It's a nice touch. That would be my later on advertisement thing.
But the initial ones would be invest in the equipment inside of your business.
100%.
That's what's going to directly help you do a better job with your customers.
There's no question. It's going to give you a better service. You've got to cover the first things first.
Gotcha.
So you get great equipment, and then you can get great chairs in your waiting room. But if you have to be selective, equipment, then your consultation room, then your waiting room, and then get your cards on Vistaprint, get your
and then your
brochures,
marketing,
and then doing your
and
marketing.
then your marketing.
That's
Okay,
right.
These are going to be my final two business fast track question.
Yes.
Answer them within 60 seconds.
Got it. We'll do even less than that.
What was the best advice that you've been giving since you started your business?
Joe D'Onofrio, amazing chiropractor, so brilliant, wise beyond his years, recently passed away. He would always have great advice, and part of that was going out and handing out your cards. Other advice is going to be careful who you affiliate yourself with, be careful who you associate with, build your tribe, and be smart about it. Joe D had so many things. Chiropractic is an emergency. Don't take care of people in pain because they're not listening to you. They can't receive the message. Chiropractors really have a hard time with that. It's like, look, if we were really doing our job, we'd be seeing everybody from the moment they were born, and this wouldn't be an issue. So do your job. And you're not doing your job on that small portion of society that's in so much pain they can't hear you. That's not the people that we need to be reaching. We need to be reaching people way before then.
Those are not your customers.
They're not our customers. They're not our members. Our members start from birth. The two best times to see a chiropractor is one when you're born and two right now.
And two right now.
Yes,
I
right.
like the way you did that.
Yes, sir.
My final question, business fast track question. What's the worst advice you've ever been given?
Oh, to give, love, and serve unconditionally. See everybody. Don't let the right hand know what the left hand's doing. In other words, however people pay, don't worry about that. And then another one, don't worry about the money. Never say those things ever, because if we're going to stick around, business has to have a transaction. There has to be an exchange of value, and it's not sustainable otherwise. If I'm doing business with somebody and they say I'm not making any money on this, I leave. Because if you're not making money, you're not going to be here for very long. I'll go to do business with someone who's making money, and they're going to be here for a while.
Because I need you to pay me.
Exactly, 100%.
Yeah.
So when I do business with my friends like you, it's very important that I pay you as quickly as possible so you can keep doing that service.
Yes,
and
sir.
if we're hardwired for this natural exchange. If we do not have a natural exchange, then there's a resentment that's inevitable. So if I'm giving you a great service that is premier gold service and you're not reimbursing me, eventually I'm going to have resentment and I'm not going to give you the best service. And this is inherent. So whenever I do business with somebody, anybody, and I want the best, I have to pay them because I want the best that they can possibly give me. And it's the same thing for me. And, when people say, you're all about the money, or you don't, it's like, well, I'm going to get paid for my service because I don't want resentment. I want everyone to be happy. I want everyone to know what to expect. And if anybody goes to see anybody, friend or not, and you expect not to pay, one, I don't think you're a friend. And second, how can I do that and stay in business and give you great quality service on great quality equipment in a great quality office? So I think that we don't want resentment. We must be concerned about the money to make sure there is an equal or close to equal exchange in value so everyone can be happy. I want you, when you come to see me, to know and feel that, hey, I am so happy to spend this $100 a month. This is a great investment, and this makes me very happy to know that I am living a better quality life because of this service.
Good stuff.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Mark, that wraps up our podcast today, and I just thank you for your time. I thank you for providing such value with the way you are really able to unpack these questions and just add value to our podcast today, and I just appreciate you, sir.
Well, Alan, this is great. I've been telling you for years that you needed to get on the other side of the camera because you just don't need to be hiding those great looks and all that intelligence. And I'm so glad you're finally doing it. I'm a fan, I'm a supporter, and I look forward to watching your podcast, this one included, and all the other ones you have. I'm a fan, and I just enjoy it so much.
I appreciate you.
Appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, brother.
All right.